Once you say, yes, I want to do it, then we can translate your ambition into quantifiable targets, which sounds like someone should punch me in the face for using such awful textbooky language. Today is an unusual meeting because I am going to see a business but someone else is paying for my time. That is because it's a franchisee, and the owner of the franchise is keen to support the people they work with and has paid for me to go. So yeah, so I won't have ever met this person, the franchisee, and they're based in Scotland. I'm not going to Scotland, they're coming down here. However, I'm expecting to talk about lots of things about their life, what they want out of life, how that relates to the business, and probably whether their goals align with the goals of the franchise, whether they are ambitious, well, they share the ambition. And that's what my meeting will be about today, and I will update you later. Left the franchise and franchisee, or people, and this will be a quick video because it's getting dark. It's nearly Christmas. So, what happened? I walk in, meet the lady from Scotland, we have a conversation about her life in front of the franchise, which I'm not sure had necessarily happened in the format it happened before. In fact, I'm sure it hasn't. So, I say, well, how much money did you make last year? And she told me. And I said, how much effort was it? And she said, it'd been a really bad summer, not from a business perspective, from a delivering the work perspective, because it was just her. She's just had a young baby's 7 months old. She's got a 6-year-old son. Husband works away every other month. And I mean, it sounds like, to be honest with you, it sounds like a good family. And you know, to have your father at home for 6 months solid, not working, sounds pretty good to me. However, not ideal when you're running a business to have all those life pressures. So go through that, and I say, right, let's map out your accounts. Let's work out exactly what all your efforts will generate. And I don't look at accounts to do that. You know, I'm not an accountant, and I don't mean that in a negative or positive way. I just mean from a working out whether it's worth doing in your life does not involve looking at a set of accounts, because those numbers are historic, snapshot in time, and potentially manipulated. You know what I mean? Accounts figures are for accountants' purposes. I'm talking about your life. And so we map out the accounts together. I say, you know, if you sold this much, how much would you generate? I said, how much does that cost to do? Don't look at your accounts. Just tell me. I've covered this before in a video. Tell me, what bills would there be from driving that far and all this kind of stuff? And we map out a real-world set of accounts. I say, right, well, I've just done all your accounts, and it says you made about £5,000. Do you really want to do this? Of course, which is kind of a fairly nerve-wracking question to ask from the franchise perspective, because they need the person to do it. They're trying to build a brand in Scotland, and you know, to ask the person doing that, are you sure you want to do this? Is it worth it? Is a fairly scary question for them, I think, because they'd have to find someone else. But it is the question I, in my role, have to ask. Because all the business plans in the world will not work if A, you don't enjoy doing it, and B, it's not realistic from a time perspective, and C, there is no C. You know, time perspective, and that you enjoy it. That's all you need to be a good business person, really. So I said, do you really want to be doing this for that much money? So no, I enjoy doing it. You know, it's been a bit stressful, but I enjoy doing it. It's not all about the money. It's about building something, creating something, selling it at the end, and yeah, not about the money. So okay, well, you still want money. I mean, there's no point being in business and not actually being rewarded for it. Not really. Not really. So right, okay, well, you've answered yes. Once you say yes, I want to do it, then we can translate your ambition into quantifiable targets, which sounds like someone should punch me in the face for using such awful textbooky language. However, what I mean is, she says, this is what I do, I make 5,000. So, right, let's map out what you could do. I said, you're in a labour business. I need people to deliver what you sell. That means you can't expand your business without people. You need to employ someone or use outsourced labour. Outsourced labour not going to work. Seasonal business, it's not going to work as well. Can't control it. It's not a steady stream of work. It's ad hoc, which means you have to employ someone, and that's what I called a no-choice scenario. If you want to grow the business, and you told me you did, I need people to do the work, which means you have a no-choice scenario. But you have three choices, which is what I said. You can pay out £20,000 a year and create what I'll call an independent business unit. Punch me again. Which basically means I have a business team that runs without me. Okay, there's someone in charge, responsibility supervisor, and they have employees. As in, you can either pay 20,000 quid and set up a team to do the work you're struggling with from a time perspective, or you can say, actually, I'm just going to accept where I am and cope, or you can chuck it in, give it up, do something else. So, no, I really want to make a go of it. Franchise holder breathes a sigh of relief. I really want to make a go of it, which is great. So, right, let's talk about what you can do. You're going to have to employ a team. That's going to be £20,000. You're going to have to basically fund a truck. That's going to be £10,000, I think they said. So, how much more work do you need to do that? And when we did the sums, we needed another 30 jobs. They do 70 jobs normally. We needed 30 jobs. 100 customers in total. So if I do that, it pays for the employee. But you're a break-even company. You didn't make any money. But why that's okay, doesn't sound okay, why that's okay is the life payback. First of all, it's a platform to build a second year business, and we talked about the second year, and then she will make money. We're talking like £20,000-30,000 net, okay, building stock asset too. So second year, it's a platform, it's controlled growth, it's not uncontrollable. I don't know what's going to happen. I'd do the first year to set up the second year. That's the first reason. The second reason is, by doing this, you made no more and no less money. Okay, by taking on a team, you were a neutral move financially. But what it actually did is freed up all your time, enabled you to spend time with your young baby, to do the school runs and all those things, which, let's be honest, aren't necessarily all the great fun they're made out to be. However, in terms of doing those life elements, and equally as importantly, when Dave, your husband, comes back from leave, from his work, he no longer has to jump in the van and drive around for you, because someone is being paid to do that. And so, financially, break-even move. Payback on life, the life payback, not quantifiable, but still good. Okay. So there are two driving factors around making those accounts, the future business growth, a reality. One, business runs without you. That means it's easier to sell in the end. And two, life benefits are huge because you're not the one firefighting. Right, now we know the challenge of the marketing. I need 100 customers, I need to add 30 to business as usual. Then it's easy. We talk about digital marketing, search engine optimization, all the usual stuff which I won't talk to you about again. And when I have a good brand, and they do, it's going to happen. So that is what happened. But how we ended is how I just started. What was going on is a lack of clarity on what each person in the party expects or thinks or wants. Probably because they're friends, so they don't have a clearly written contract. The reason to have a clearly written contract isn't to beat anyone up, really, although you may have to use it for that. Clearly written contract spells out in quantifiable terms what we expect from each other, what the minimum performance from each other is. It's not a one-way deal. From each other is, the franchise and the franchisee. It says what you can do with the brand. It says who gets the money and how much money. It's not to beat someone up. It's for clarity so that we don't have to keep guessing. And she has that today because she knows it's not a one-way deal. The transaction is this. We let you use our brand and our logos and our customers and our reputation to build a market for our brand in Scotland. In return, you sacrifice an element of the profit, the control, but it's easier for you to run a business. It's an equal deal. So that's what's going to happen. The franchise is going to offer a lot more support and guidance to the franchisee, and I have no doubt that they will create a set of accounts which releases all her life issues in a positive sense and makes her autonomous from the business day to day, which is what everybody wants. A great life, business is not reliant on me. And it's still daylight, even though it's winter.